right. Good afternoon. So this was a best of 3. This might take a little while. Opponent was, I guess doesn't really like lantern control, which I understand. But it looks like they were on Skred. I did make a misplay in this first game that cost me the game. Yeah, I had to mulligan that first hand. Pretty sure, I kept this one. I like that Inventor's Fair and Bridge there. I forget what I put on top. We'll see it in a second. So, decent starting hand. Oh, it's Collective Brutality. Yeah, that's it. And so I see what my opponent's hand is. I only have one target, the Volcanic Fallout, to pick out of my opponent's hand. But I didn't see the Chandra because the opponent just drew it. But I saw the Pia and Kiran. Really, I should have waited on this needle. I went a little bit too quick on there. And I played a Spellskite into needle naming Pia. I hadn't seen anybody play Chandra yet. So I wasn't really expecting it. But really, I should have. I should have expected it. And here comes Chandra. And I was like, ah, crap. So now I need to dig for needle to take care of Chandra quick. I can survive for a little while. But then my opponent gets Koth. So now I need 2 needles. So I sack the Inventor's Fair to go get 1 needle. And I name Chandra. Now it might have been correct to name Koth instead. But I figure I had a little bit extra time to stop Koth. Whereas Chandra, I was really afraid of that whenever my opponent casts a spell, it deals 5 damage. So in hindsight, I probably should have done Koth. In hindsight, I shouldn't have played the needle so quick. So a bunch of dead cards in my opponent's hand now. My only concerns are Chandra and Koth. Yeah, opponent immediately ults. And now I have to get a second needle. If I get a second needle, I probably win. So try to mill. I draw the spell bomb. I sack my... Yeah. So I end up... I try to shuffle up my library. I should have probably ghost quartered myself too. First. Because all I'm trying to do now is, draw that second needle. So what I probably should have done here is, aside from not playing that first needle so quick, is pop the, let's see, mill, didn't see one, ghost quarter myself with a mana floating. Well, I guess mana floating doesn't matter, but ghost quarter myself so I can shuffle up the top. If I still don't see a needle, then, I draw the spell bomb. I'm sorry. I ghost quarter myself. Yeah, then with a mana floating. See what my top card is. If it's not what I want, then I lantern myself. Hopefully, and then at that point I sack Pyrite Spellbomb and just hope for a needle. If I had gotten a needle, I probably would have won the game pretty easily from there. But yeah, I didn't use all the outs available to me, and I played the that first needle a bit too quickly. Rather than going on tilt, I accepted my misplays and went on from there. Opening hand, Leyline, absolutely. Freaking done. My opponent brought in Blood Moons, which don't really do anything to me. I mean, sure, they stop a lot of what I like Inventor's Fair, but it's fine, whatever. I have a Pixis. It's a pretty good hand. I mean, look at that. I have a lock with Leyline on second turn, which is pretty good. Yeah. Opponent had 2 runners on top, Molten Rain and Vandal Blast, so I had to mill both times. Now I hold the needle this time, learning from my previous mistake. name the Chandra. I'm still worried about what my opponent has in hand, but I have a lock here. So, yeah, I figured I'd get a bell. And my plan here was, I didn't know what my opponent had in hand at this point. I was afraid of like a Vandal Blast or something. So, well, I guess, I can't remember if Vandal Blast says target. Let's see. Each. Okay, so they wouldn't have to target me. So I was afraid of another Vandal Blast in the hand or something like that. So my biggest concern here was to make sure that my opponent didn't have any threats in hand. I can easily dig to a bridge, so I'm not worried about Batter School. I got plenty of time. So number one concern was to get whatever threat my opponent was trying to hold out of their hand. Obviously, my opponent next turn was hoping to play the Worm Coil. I didn't know it at the time, though. So on my turn, I Infernal, I get a Thoughtseize, and I get that Worm Coil out of the way. And again, Blood Moon doesn't do anything to me, especially if I have an Opal and a Forest out. I mean, yeah, sure, it cuts off Inventor's Fair, but I'll survive. And opponent concedes, especially if I have a bridge on top, which I did. So game 3, opponent is pretty tilted at this point now. I asked my opponent if they were playing or drawing, and I forget what they said. It was something not like they were not happy, like don't ask stupid questions or something like that. Yeah, don't ask stupid questions. I was like, okay, LOL. Decent hand. I would have preferred the ley line, but you know what? I'll be okay. This is amazing, by the way. So, first turn, Lantern Opal, right? With a basic. So Blood Moon's not going to hurt me at all. Second turn, Shredder into Bridge. So now I have a lock with a bridge on second turn. And I have Needle and Stirrings in hand if I need it. I have another bridge on top. My opponent like gets super pissed here. Because at the end of my opponent's turn, I mill them with the Codex Shredder. And I guess they thought that it was I'm going to act like a bell where I mill my own bridge. And they point from my Codex Shredder to me, as in like, hey, why didn't you mill your bridge? But I can just continued on. It's like, whatever. Like, it happened so quick, and I guess they, I don't know, didn't like it. And they just quit out. Now, I stayed in here. You can see, like, all of this right here at the bottom. I stayed in case maybe it was like they didn't rage quit. Maybe it was just, you know, they had a bad internet connection or something. And I stayed in for a long time. This action over here is somebody else came in the thread, or in the game, asking, you know, or they came in to spectate, and I told them, I was like, yeah, looks like opponent like rage quit on me, but I was giving him time just in case it was, you know, an accidental disconnection or something, and the person who came in was like, yeah, I probably would have quit too. But, yeah, the person who came in was really nice, actually. They were a very nice person. Let's see. I'll wait for them to come in. I added them as a buddy as well, so we can play sometime, because that person, yeah, Dr. Salem? Yeah. So I added them as a buddy, because they said they'd like to play against the deck. So, but they weren't able to. They're at work. Anyways, yeah. Skred Red and the, you know, Red Planeswalkers. 2-1 with the post board games and my misplay in game 1. I'll get there eventually. I'll stop misplaying.